All right, let's UV unwrap the pencil sharpener. I'm going to do this in the same fashion that I did during class. Here I have the sharpener. It's currently not smoothed. If you have smoothed the pencil sharpener, that's okay. It'll just mean you need to select additional edges to make the cuts. But you can choose the same locations that I'm choosing for the edges. So for example, let's say we're starting with this piece and I cut around this edge loop here, right? If I've already smoothed this with two subdivision levels like this, then I just need to find the edge loop that wraps around completely like that goes around the front, right? Yeah, so it'd probably be more like maybe this one, yeah. Anyway, so just choose to cut in the same location and you should be fine. So what we want to do is go to the workspace UV editing, and all of the pieces will look something like this. I'm going to go one piece at a time, and I'm going to be using Control 1, which is the isolation mode, and you can do that in both the 3D viewport as well as the UV editor. If you have multiple screens, you could also open up the UV editor and put it on the other screen. We'll be using the UV toolkit in here. All right, so I'll start with this front piece. As I said, I'm going to select, or I need to actually undo this so it's not smooth. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to select this edge. Let me just turn this off for a second so you can see. So I'm going to select that edge. Actually, sorry, I'm going to select the whole thing, create, turn this, rotate the camera to 3/4 view, camera base. I get this. Then I will select this edge, cut it, shift right click, cut, or over here, cut, right? Then I can select this edge loop, cut that. Let's move this out of the way for now. Then I have this shell, which I can then unfold, shift right click, unfold, unfold. So you can just unfold by holding shift and quick dragging to the left like that. Or you can open up this, click unfold here. This piece is now unfolded. That's good. I'll move it over here. This piece right here, I can double click on this edge. You can see if I do that in the editor, the UV editor, it'll only select these two edges. However, if I were to double click on those edges here, it's going to select all of the edges on that edge loop on the piece, which we don't want. So you could either isolate, come in here and select this edge and this one, or you could double click on this edge right here and we get them both. Cut, UV shell, select, unfold. That's good. Next, we need to cut the top. I'm going to select this shell, change the camera view, and just with the shell selected, camera base, now I can see the top and the bottom. I'll double click on this edge, which selects just those top edges, and is it this one? Yeah, these two. Cut. I'm going to cut this in half. UV shell, select both, unfold. That's good. All right, this piece is done. Let's do the tube here. Camera base, and we just need to select this corner edge loop and that corner edge loop. Cut. Now we are left with these. This unfold, move to the side. This we'll select the bottom of both of those, cut them, and oops, let's double click on this. Hold shift, double click on this, then cut, then unfold. What's going on here? If you unfold in it, it just means this edge wasn't selected, so I'll cut that, unfold that. Grab this edge, cut it, unfold that. Scale those down, just move them to the side. All right, that piece is done. Let's do the body piece here. 3/4 view, camera base. Let's cut it down the center, on the top and bottom. So those two edges, cut. Shell mode, unfold, move them to the side. That piece is done. This back piece, let's do camera based again. Then double click on this edge and this one, cut them both. Then in here, UV shell mode, I have this shell and this one. And if I select them both and unfold them, I get that, which is what I want. This one, let's cut here and here, cut, unfold, that's good. Now for this back one, Control 1, 3/4 view, camera base. I'm going to select this edge loop here that wraps around down here. Then I will hold Shift and also select that one, cut. Now I have these two pieces, which I can unfold. That's good. Then I have this piece. I'm hitting Control 1. I'm going to cut this off. And what I did in class and what I'll do here is I'll also create a center edge loop right there using the multi-cut tool. I'm going to double click, whoops. Yeah, double click on this edge, hold Shift, double click there, hold Shift, double click there, hold Shift, double click there, cut, and you can see I cut that off, right? So essentially these are the edges you want. And then we can double click on these edges, which is selecting just that. I could cut there and open this up and I get this. Now we're left here with this. And I know that we need to cut these. Whoops, I'm gonna make sure I only have edges selected. So we're going to need to cut these corners here. So I'll cut that. And you can also cut these extrusions off if we want to minimize distortion for the sake of extra seams. In this case, let's go ahead and do that. So I'll pull this over, unfold those. There we go. Unfold, and we get this. So that's good. Next, let's do this piece, which is cut just fine. It just needs to be unfolded. This piece also is cut fine. It just needs to be unfolded. Move that to the side. This piece will need to be cut more. So let's do, actually it's very close. We don't need to create a new UV shell for this one. You could if you wanted, but I'm going to come in close, double click on that edge in there, cut that, and then I'll also cut this edge so that I don't get stretching along this shell. Then I can select these shells and unfold them. Let's move this off, move this off. So this shell here is like a tube and there's a lot of stretching right now. I can see that if I turn this on, see how all the squares are all stretched in there. So I need to select the bottom edges like right here. Actually, we can line them up with this one. So where is that? Is that this? Other side. That one. Yeah. Whoops. Cut. Unfold. There we go. All right. Everything has been cut and unfolded. That's good. Now would be a good time to save the work. So I'll do that. And then let's see. So here are all of our shells, right? We need to orient them. So I'm going to select all the shells and click on Arrange and Layout, click Orient Shells. That will turn them to be as flat as they can be. Next, I'm going to select one of these shells. I could also come in here in this view and go to UV shell and choose like this one. Bring it over here, have it, scale it something like this. Then select the whole piece again. Go back and select this shell. Open up Transform, scroll down where it says Textile Density, click Get. Select all these and hit Set. Then let's close Transform for a second. Open up Arrange and Layout, hold Shift, and click on Layout, which will open up this menu. Click rotate shells, make sure this only says 90 and 360, 2048, 10, 20, hit apply. Make sure your shells are selected before you hit apply. Now it's going to be working down here, and this is a decent starting point. From here we can edit this. You can see that there's quite a bit of extra space. And what I like to do is start by moving small shells into like large open areas like this. So I'll select all of these shells here, these little ones that would fit, and kind of move them in here. Let's see, where's the other? That's fine. And then, let's see, here. I can move this over here. Let's rotate this, transform, rotate, move this up here, do the same thing. I press G to just rotate that again. We can probably fit all of this in here. Let's move this up. We don't want to touch the edge of the shell. So you don't have to arrange yours exactly like mine. I'm just showing you the process. And what I'll be looking for when I'm scoring these is an efficient use of the one-to-one space, right? So we want to make sure that UV shells are taking up as much of the one-to-one space as possible. There's as minimal stretching as possible, and there are as few seams as possible, right? So it's kind of a jigsaw puzzle. It's like, how can we increase the size of some of these shells? Right? And I'm going to look at small parts now, like this part, the handle. So I'll grab these shells, and we can have the textile density be a little off here for the small pieces in order to take up more room. So I'll take these UV shells, and I'm just going to scale them up a little bit like that. That way things like rust and stuff will show up better. So I'm going to take this shell and rotate it 90 degrees. Yeah. And I'll take these, and let's click on Orient again just to straighten them out a bit. And let's take this one, and we'll move it here. These can go like this. What is this? That's part of here. That's fine. Let's move this up. We'll bring this down here. What else? Let's take this handle piece and make these shells larger. Select, oops, object mode, Control 1. Scale these up a bit. So we don't want to get overboard with this, because if we do, it's going to be obvious that there's different levels of detail inside of or like throughout the model, right? So yeah, let's see, will this fit in here? Yes. All right, we could probably tweak this further, but for the sake of this video, this is pretty good. So again, no shells, no UV shells are touching each other, right? They're not touching the edge of the one-to-one space, and they're taking up a good amount of the one-to-one space. There's also little to no distortion, and as few shells as possible, with to capture that. Just for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to rotate this so it's face up. All right, so if you haven't smoothed yet, now is when you'd want to smooth. You'd want to select all the pieces just like I'm doing. Select them all. Let's go back to the modeling for a second. Click on smooth, deselect, select them all again, and click on smooth again. That way they're smooth with 2 subdivisions. If you click on smooth once and then increase the subdivisions, it's not going to work properly. So do it in the fashion that I showed you there. Then let's go back to UV editing. Save your work before we do this next part. So I'm going to do that. Save scene as. I'll change this to 3 and hit save. All right, this can crash your computer, which is why we're going to save. If it does crash your computer, do one at a time. Okay, so because we smoothed this, we lost a little bit of volume, and that means that these shells are no longer quite accurate. So what we want to do is select them all and unfold them all. So I'm going to do that. You'll see it's working right here. There we go. So it unfolded them all, and now we need to double check and make sure that we're not having issues. Like right here, we have some issues of them overlapping and touching. So UV shell mode, select these. Let's orient them again to start with. Then I'll move this over a bit. Let's move these over a little. And because everything lost volume, it's possible that we could, do some custom scaling again because we have a little bit more room. Let's make sure this is not, it's not touching. This is going over, so we need to fix that. I'll take these and move them over here. There we go. All right, good. I'm going to go back to General. I'm going to go to Edit, Delete All by Type, History. Make sure that this is all in the same group, right? If it's not, select all pieces, hit Control G. Make sure that there's no further groups in here. Make sure every piece is named, right? Everything has been smoothed. It's not just in smooth preview. So if you select this and you hit 1, if it changes back to be faceted and low poly, that means you need to actually smooth this still and go through that process. If that all is the case, then if everything's set, we need to export this to bake it, right? So I'm going to select the group up here. The group is the icon with the rectangle and the red arrow. Okay, so I'll select that, File, Export Selection. Make sure it's looking into your project folder, right? And we're going to export this into the data folder. Right now it's trying to put it in the scenes folder. So I'll click this blue up arrow. Then here I am in my project folder, double click on data. I'm going to name this Sharpener. Make sure this is set to FBX. Everything else should be fine. Then hit export selection. From here, we can complete the baking portion. So let's go do that. All right, here I am in Substance Painter. My UI is a little different. If I can reset it, let's see, reset UI. Okay, yours should look something more like this. I like to have this down here. I can grab this just because I'm used to working in that fashion. But either way is fine. Just for the sake of the video, I'll put it up here so it looks similar to what you all have. This version might be a touch different, but everything should be, close enough. All right, so I'm going to go to File, New. Make sure this is PBR Metallic Roughness, right? You might have something here that's different. That's okay. As long as it's PBR Metallic Roughness, everything should be fine. Document resolution, we're working in 2048 by 2048. Where it says File, click on Select. Open up your Sharpener folder, Data, find the Sharpener FBX and hit Open. And this is all good. Hit OK. I can press F here and F here to focus in. Remember that you can hold Shift and right click and drag to rotate the light around. And then navigation works the same as it does in Maya. In order to meet the next, this coming milestone, all we need to do is bake this so that it's ready to be textured. Remember that if you get baking errors, it's likely that you don't have your UVs need to be fixed. That's probably what's going on. Excuse me. If all of your UVs do not show up here, but some of them do, look up here where it says texture set list and make sure there's only one like Lambert or standard surface here. If there's more than one thing up here, it means that you have more than one material assigned to your sharpener. To fix that, you would have to go into Maya, select all parts, right click and hold, assign existing material and standard surface 1 so that all parts have the same material. Then you would need to click on here and go through the export selection process again, and you could just override the last one. And then you would only have one material up here. Okay. If all of that's looking good, then you can either go to texture set settings, scroll down and click on bake mesh maps, or you can click on this croissant icon up here for the bake window. Once you're in here, sometimes students won't have everything here, like they can't see part of this UI. And if that's the case, if you're missing anything as I'm going through this, just go to Windows and click on Reset UI or Window Reset UI, and that should fix it. Okay. Let's start on the left and work our way over. Uncheck ID. We don't need ID map for this. Everything else leave as is in this menu. This is good. Again, make sure there's only one material here. All right, over here, change this to 2048. Then next thing, you're going to use low poly mesh as high poly mesh. So check that box. Leave this for now. That's all good. Anti-aliasing, subsampling, or supersampling 4x is good. And everything else should be good. Then click on Bake Selected Textures. You'll see it's going to start working its way through this. Return to paint mode, and what we want to do is look for baking errors. So come through here and just check to see if there's odd bits that have baked onto each other. Like what that would look like would be, it would be, for example, like this handle corner here, there's like a weird dark or bright edge of that corner baking onto this tube right there. But yeah, so just look around and see if you see anything odd. Remember, you can hold shift, right click, and drag. If you don't see anything odd, then that's good. What I'd like you to do from here is open up your snipping tool inside of Windows. To do that, you can click in the search bar and type in snip, and you'll find the snipping tool app. It looks like this. Might look a little different in yours. Anyway, you can click on new, and then it's going to allow you to custom drag like an image. And what I'd like to see is this, where if you show me, oops, actually not that. Scroll. Yeah, scroll down. I'm going to move this. These maps are the maps we just baked. So in texture set settings, scroll down so that you can see these maps. There we go. Then go back here, new, and show me this. If you do this, then I'll be able to see the model as well as UVs and the fact that you baked like this. Save this image. So I'd say save snip. Put it inside of your in here. Put it inside of the images folder, and just name it bake. Save. All right. If you've gone this far, then you're totally good with the assignment. Yeah, you've made it as far as you need to for this next class. Reach out if you have any questions. Thanks, and bye.